I am Penny Dreadful, joined by Juno Gimmicks Needed Radley and Crystal the Casual at the Unicorn Soundboard. And this is Home Wrestling League, and we have a very special guest with us today. He's turning it up on the indies and making a name for himself and only for himself. You can see him live at Millennium Pro Wrestling. They run a show out of Chatsworth, California on Friday nights, and you can watch the shows afterwards on YouTube. For your entertainment, get your passports ready. From Dirtsheets, Michigan, please welcome Maximilien Monclair.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Oh man, my first wrestling show so far was the Summerfest in June, and they introduced you, Dirtsheets, and you can see me in the background falling out laughing. It was
I remember that actually.
Funniest thing.
I remember seeing you live just rolling on the floor laughing because you were just like, what is this? What's happening?
I was like, immediately, this is amazing. I love it. Give me more.
Yes.
Firstly, I want to wish you a happy birthday. You just had one, yes?
Thank you very much.
Yay!
Thank you.
Many happy returns.
I had a very lovely birthday with the majority of my wrestling crew, so it was really special this year to have everybody together. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
You don't look a day over 22.
Oh, thanks, man.
Right?
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Was your birthday on actual Valentine's Day?
My for real birthday is on Valentine's Day. Yes. So I mean, it kind of fits the character very well too.
It really does.
Yes. I go with it.
It does. Yeah.
I was
That's perfect.
Fellow air sign, right? Because you're also an Aquarius, correct, Penny?
Yes, my birthday was on Wednesday.
Oh,
February,
happy birthday to you too.
Yes,
Hey.
Sorry we missed it.
Huh?
And then, I told her happy birthday. I don't know about you.
I stayed quiet about it. I'm like, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But February Aquarians, you guys.
Hey,
I know.
At us.
Nice.
Look at us.
That is so awesome. It does really fit the character. I was really surprised to find that you've only been wrestling for like 2 or 3 years. Because when we got there, I was like, this is really amazing. I think you're real natural at it.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. So professionally, I've only been doing this for about a year and 7 months. Yeah, before I made my real professional wrestling debut, I had trained for 1 complete year at MPW with Ray Rosas and Danny Devine. And they really wanted me to not only just get the basics down like really, really well, but they wanted to take their time with me. They didn't want to rush me out. They wanted to develop this character and wanted to have me be as great as I could be before I step out in front of everybody. So they really took their time and helped me curate this character and this persona to be in professional wrestling. So I've only been doing this for like about a year and 7 months, and it's been a complete blessing. A complete blessing.
That is crazy. And you were an actor and screenwriter first, though. What brought you to acting? Was that like a single moment that was like, I want to be an actor?
Yeah, well, it's a wild story. So I grew up watching old films with my father, and that gave me that intrigue of wanting to become an actor because I loved those performances and I loved the aesthetic of old Hollywood and stuff. And so when I was growing up, I loved writing too. So I went to college for journalism and public relations. But at the time, I didn't have enough electives to graduate. So this is how funny how the world works at the end of the day. When I was supposed to graduate, I went up to my counselor and she said, you need to take about 4 more electives classes in order to graduate. And here's a sheet of paper. It has some random classes. Pick it out. So I'm looking at this sheet and it said, what caught my eye was art history film, acting, screenwriting, and I took an art course. And those 4 classes really just changed my perspective of what I really wanted to do, you know?
Wow.
And it just opened my eyes a lot. So when I took the acting course and when I took the writing course, I was like, I feel like this is more aligned with my path than the journalism and public relations aspect of everything. So I went in, and in Detroit, there was just like limited amounts of things that you could do acting wise. There's a bunch of theater things. There's not really that much film stuff to do in Detroit at the time when I was coming up. There was a tax incentive in Michigan to bring Hollywood to Michigan. And there was a big production at the time through ABC television called Detroit 187. It was a cop show. And I had gotten cast on it, and I was like, dude, this is awesome. I played like a gangster, like a thug to what was his name? Oh my God, Michael Imperioli from Sopranos.
Really?
Oh wow.
Oh, so yeah, the show only lasted one season, and it was unfortunate too because it got really great reviews. But the ratings weren't there for ABC, unfortunately. So I was on the tail end of the last 2 episodes of the series. So much fun. I got my SAG card because of that series. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna take it as a sign. If I really want to do acting, I'm gonna go to Los Angeles and I'm just gonna do it, right?
Yeah.
So I saved up enough money. I left my hometown. I went to Los Angeles. And then I got my SAG card before they merged. So I saved so much money because normally it's like above $3,000 just to get into SAG, right?
Yeah.
And at the time before the merger, I only paid $800.
Oh, shit.
So I paid $800. I paid $800 to get into SAG-AFTRA before that merger. And then it just like 3 days later they merged after I paid my dues. So I was like, yeah, this is where it's supposed to be. I'm supposed to be doing this, you know? Then when it came to professional wrestling, I've always been a fan of professional wrestling. I grew up, as I said, like in a prior interview, I'm a child of the Attitude Era. So I loved watching WWE, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, everything that you could think of that era. I was glued to the television, right? Every
week. Yeah.
And as I got older, you know, some people say, oh, you know, wrestling, it's a phase. You'll get over it as you grow up, you know, like whatever. It's for the kids or it's for the teenagers or whatever. But for some reason, it always followed me. Like I would always keep tabs on what was going on with the WWE. And I could never understand why. Why did I keep up with it so much during my years, like after you know the Attitude Era was over and everything like that, and I was growing up. And so, you know, one day I decided that I wanted to write a script about a professional wrestler, just to have like a drama piece about it. And and you know, I was at the gym one day, and because I love working out. That's my thing. I love physical fitness. I love all that stuff. That's my jam. Because thank you so much. I had idolized Triple H during that Attitude Era. So when mentally in my head, I was like, well, when I grow up, I'm gonna look like that. That's like my ideal goal, is to look like Triple H, like at his peak, right? So you know, I would frequent the gym 6 days out of the week, all the time when I moved to LA. And back in I want to say this was 2019, I was at the gym. I see this guy and his girlfriend always on the same rotation as me. I always do push-pull legs, right? And then I repeat it again so that it completes 6 days out of the week. Every single time that I was at the gym in 2019, I would see these two individuals always on my machine at the same exact time, working out the same exact thing. So I sparked a conversation with these two people, right? And one of them was LA Knight, Sean Ricker.
Right.
And because I would always see him in like t-shirts that had like NXT or Raw or SmackDown or like something wrestling related, right? And I struck up a conversation after I basically was like, hey, you guys are always on my machine. Let's be friends. So basically that's how it went.
Your machine,
And then we had these conversations of, oh, hey, are you a wrestling fan? And he goes, no, I'm a professional wrestler. And I go, oh, no way. Because I had no idea. I didn't follow follow the SoCal wrestling scene. I didn't know it was such a big deal. I had no idea, none, zero whatsoever. And Sean was the one that was telling me, like, no, it's kind of a big thing. Like, there's multiple promotions throughout the state. It's a thing. So we started talking, and we became really fast friends, him and his girlfriend, Michelle. And one thing after another, he decided, hey, I'm having a Halloween party at my place. Would you like to come? I go, sure, absolutely, you know? So I didn't have any, like, I think I had like an old, what was it that I had? Like a Roman toga, right? That I had like in a box. And I was like, that's the only costume that I have. So I'm like, okay, I guess this is what I'm going to wear to this Halloween party.
Perfect,
so it happens, right? So I threw it on, and then I went to this party, and as soon as I walked in, I was like, oh, I know a lot of these people. I know that's Brian Cage. That's Scorpio Sky. That's pretty cool. Hey, that's John Morrison. I know that dude. I remember watching him and stuff.
Yeah.
So then I went and grabbed a drink, and I was at the balcony. Beautiful view of Hollywood from this balcony. Absolutely gorgeous. Like it's as if it was like out of a movie, realistically, right? I go and grab a drink, and I'm just like watching. I'm looking at this like skyline of Hollywood and LA, and I'm like, wow, this is pretty neat. And this man approaches me, and he's like, hey, how do you know Sean? And how long have you been in the business? How long have you been wrestling? And I go, I've known Sean for less than 4 months, and I am not a wrestler, but I'm an actor and I'm a writer. I was laughing at the time. And he goes, really? And I go, yeah, I'm just, that's all I do. I don't do professional wrestling at all. And he's like, I think you should roll around in a ring and see if you like it. And that guy was David Marquez of United Wrestling Network.
Right.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I'm friends with him on Facebook.
Yeah, right. So he was the guy that basically discovered me and brought me in and assured me that I should go into the ring because he's had this vision of me.
Yeah, he saw it.
He saw it. And then I took his offer, and a week later I was in my first training class in some warehouse in Oxnard. I was the beginner of that class. It was an advanced class. And as soon as I went into the ring and I started doing some of the stuff that the advanced guys were doing, I was like, man, this is really cool. This is something really special. That it just felt kind of a full circle moment for me. Yeah. Like, because it always followed me, but I didn't think it was going to follow me like this. Like, this was the path it was leading to from age 13 all the way until this present moment. It was like, wow, really? This is how it's coming back? So I did the first class, loved it, was great. Then every single time that they held class, every Tuesday, it was canceled because they all had to work. They were all working on different promotions and stuff. So I kind of let it go because it was, maybe this isn't for me because class isn't happening and I don't know where else to go, you know?
Sure, yeah.
This is all brand new to me and stuff. So I let it go. Then the pandemic happens in March 2020, right?
Yep.
The whole world shuts down. Everything is just like, whatever. I just wrote a bunch of scripts while I was at home. I did nothing else. I just sat at the computer and just wrote. Then it was in June of 2021 when world was coming back together.
Yeah, wheels were coming back together again.
Yes, after Biden was elected. And I get an email from my agent, and she says, hey, unfortunately, we're dropping you.
Ooh.
And she had been my longtime agent for quite some time.
Oh, man.
And I that was a hard hit to take because it was just like, wow, really, the world is getting back together finally after this pandemic. And now I don't have an agent. I don't have representation to get auditions and to get things. And it really like stung for that initial 30 minutes when I got that email. I was like, man, this sucks. This is terrible.
An email wasn't even a call?
It wasn't even a call. It was just an email.
Man.
And I was so pissed that I didn't even want to pick up the phone and call her, you know?
Yeah.
I was
Totally
like, you know what?
understandable.
The frustration was just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'll let it go. I'll let it go. I responded to the email. Thank you so much for all the years that you represented me. I appreciate it. Send, right?
Yeah.
Not even 30 minutes after I sent that email out, David Marquez messages me on Instagram and goes, hey, you want to go back into training? So I took that as a sign, and I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I'm going all in.
Window opens, doors open. Like,
Yeah,
automatically.
You're absolutely correct. When one door closes, another one wide opens.
Yeah.
You know? So a week later, he was like, hey, meet me up at this place called Millennium Pro Wrestling in Chatsworth. I was like, sure, let's do it. So I show up and I see I'm watching the show. It's fantastic. All of these people are doing such a great job at this facility.
Yeah.
And it's a great facility too. Dave is next to me and he's describing all the wrestlers that are in the ring, like, oh, he's this or oh, she's that, and you know, yada yada, what they do and everything. And he said, your trainer that you're gonna be with is the main event. So what a funny way to enter professional wrestling with how this match went. So the main event happens, and you guys know Ray Rosas because you've come to the show and stuff. Phenomenal SoCal legend. I mean, he's just above and beyond in professional wrestling on the indie scene.
Yes.
And he's having this match, which it wasn't necessary. I mean, like, it was a stipulation match, kind of like a hardcore thing, but it wasn't supposed to be that hardcore. So the bell rings, and his opponent has like a Guitar Hero, like guitar, like one of the plastic ones or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So Ray's coming in like to duck his swing, right, with the guitar. So as soon as he swings and he's ducking, the opponent accidentally just went a little bit too low with the guitar and just sliced his head.
Oh man. Oh God.
So 1 second into the match, Ray is like blooded completely head to toe. And I look to Dave and I go, was that supposed to happen? And Dave's like, no. And so Ray,
like, this is what you're gonna do.
I mean, I was like, I'm not doing that. This is not what I signed up for. Absolutely not. That's not me. No, thank you. Unsubscribe is what I was thinking in my head, right? So Ray, being the professional that he is, he just, rolled with it. There was a towel on the outside. He took a huge somebody's water jug and just drenched himself all in water to just wipe off all the blood. He went back into the ring, finished that match within 15 minutes, and like the crowd went insane, right? But it was that introduction that I was like, man, how did he do that? Even with all of the shit that was happening with how did he do that so well too? Then it was over. The event was over, and Dave brings me up. Ray comes out to greet the fans and to say hi to everybody. And Dave goes up to Ray. Still covered in like dried blood. So I want you to imagine that scene in Carrie, right?
Oh my God.
That's what Ray Rosas looked like at the end of the match, right? Dave went up to Ray. Ray turns around, and Ray at the time was with Championship Wrestling in Hollywood. He was a featured act at the time. And he turned around and he looks at Dave, and Dave goes, hey, I want you to meet Maximilien. Maximilien, this is Ray. This is your trainer. Ray just, he was like this, like looking at Dave, and then he looked at me, and he goes, yes. And he was all in. As soon as he saw me, he was like,
Yeah.
yes, we are doing this. Absolutely.
He
Yes.
saw it too. He saw
it too. Like
through the dried blood.
His eyes were like, yup, we're doing this.
Yeah.
So that was my introduction to MPW. And then again, I had trained for the entire year before I made my debut. And it was such a fantastic ride before making that debut.
I have issued an open challenge tonight for my national championship. So if any of the guys back there think they have the guts to come up and step up to me, be forewarned. Spoiler alert, I win.
Yes, you do, baby!
Enchanté, Mira Pavshin, bonne nuit.
How did the Maximilien character come about? By the way, it's my son's name.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
Well, what a small world. Look at that. Right? So Maximilien came about. Dave Marquez came up with Maximilien. And he was describing, the Hollywood star, this and that, like going down giving me the rundown of what this character is supposed to be about. And I loved the name Maximilien when he brought it up. I was like, that's a bold name. But then he was saying like, I want to name you Maximilien. I forget what it was, like Bonadonna or something like that. Like a weird last name that I didn't particularly like. It didn't like fit what I was going for, right? And so I was toying around with different things and stuff. And there was a French actor, Alain Delon, that a friend of mine introduced me to years ago. Classic, like French actor, man. Like his work is just absolutely phenomenal. And I piggybacked to that actor and his work, and I was like, well, maybe I could kind of make Maximilien like that, but make him French American, and to have that like French noir aesthetic into like merging it, like the Hollywood French like connection, right?
Yeah.
Where this guy's a superstar, he goes to every single fashion show throughout the entire world every single year. He's A-list, he's magazine quality. He's just this it boy, basically. He's like the it guy, right?
Yeah.
So I started toying around with different last names and stuff. I was like, what can go with Maximilien, right? And I was thinking, what could rhyme? What's something that could rhyme? Roman Reigns, Bianca Belair. Like I needed like things to like go with it. I was like, what can I do that would just be like A to B, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, let me
alliterative.
Let me
Alliteration
just
is the
figure it
best.
out. So I'm on Google. I'm literally just like, what could go with Maximilien? I'm like, I don't know. So I'm typing in like city names, right? That I'm like city names that start with M. And then it was Monclair, California came out. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, this is genius. Okay.
Monclair, not Montclair of all places.
This is hilarious that it came up on Google. I'm like, this is genius, right?
That was literally what I thought when I saw the name. I was like, is this about Montclair? Is this about the city of Montclair?
Right. So Monclair has a T in it. So when people say, oh, hey, I'm going to Montclair, California, sometimes they don't pronounce the T when they say it super fast.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me take out the T and let me change the spelling of Maximilien. Instead of the Italian way to spell it, let me just spell it the French way with the E at the end. I was like, all right, Maximilien Monclair. That sounds great.
Ding.
To me.
Yeah.
Ding.
Yeah.
I was like, this is it. This is how it's gonna be. And that's how it was. That's how I developed it.
That's a great story. And it's funny you mentioned the T thing, because that's how you know someone's from California. We do not say the T's in any of our cities. It's not Santa Monica. It's Santa Monica.
Santa Monica.
Not Sacramento. It's Sacramento.
Exactly. And
unless
that's
you're,
how I look.
yeah. But yeah, that's funny because you picked up on that. That's so funny because like Monclair has been a part of like my life since I was a kid. Because I'm from here. I'm from LA. So
love that. So when I saw that, it just made sense. It just flowed so well.
Yeah.
So then when I introduced the name back to David Marquez into Ray Rosas and even to Danny Devine, they were just like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So
his opponent, he is your reigning MPW National Champion. From Detroit, Michigan. Standing at 6 foot 4 inches tall, 240 pounds, Maximilien Monclair.
Did you have any inspirations? I'm detecting a lot of ravishing Rick Rude. And how does traditional acting compare to building a wrestling persona?
Yeah, it's a mixture of a lot of Rick Rude, Triple H.
Yeah. Early Triple H at that.
Yeah.
Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Yeah, the Hunter Hearst Helmsley thing. So when I first debuted at MPW, it was I had longer hair. I did the whole like Hunter Hearst Helmsley. You know, I still do it today. I still do it because I think it just fits the character so well. It does, to do it. So
Helmsley will look like a ruffle, one of those fancy shirts.
Could you imagine? I did the whole thing with the hair tied back and the ruffle. Yeah. Just like, yes, please.
Like the hand movement.
So, yeah, exactly. Exactly. So it's a mixture of a lot of different characters and stuff, but primarily it's just the character is based off of that French actor, but making it more Americanized, basically. That's all.
Yeah.
So
is that why you wear the gold trucks? Like it's Panettone gold.
Panettone
gold.
Yes.
It's Panettone gold. So
that's
the first thing I noticed when you came out. I was like, oh, it's Oscar gold.
Yeah, basically. Yes, absolutely. I wanted to look like, holy, this guy is like Hollywood.
Yeah. You know, when I first saw you, this is not the same because you're giving false information, but I was like, this is giving me Johnny Cage from Mortal Kombat vibes.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah, honestly, it's the glasses. You know, it's the glasses because that's a Johnny Cage thing.
It's the glasses and the wrist tape and the physique. And all of that. Yeah. So I, the black hair with the aviators, like I get it. I totally understand that.
He's an it guy too. And he's like the actor within that universe. So that always made, because I loved Mortal Kombat growing up as a kid. That was my thing. Instead of wrestling, fighting things, I liked Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat was great. I loved it too. So, I mean, like to be compared to Johnny Cage, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty badass.
J'ai pas fait semblant, je te jure. J'ai jamais dit non. J'ai pas fait semblant, je te jure. J'ai jamais dit non. J'ai juste laissé le temps courir, partir, venir.
Yeah. Crystal also immediately clocked your entrance song. She knew it. How did you choose that? How did you come across that?
Well, the camera guy, Kevin at MPW, was the one that discovered that song. And he made it in my my first initial reel that I had on Instagram. And he goes, this is a great song. So the more that I listen to it, I go, this is my entrance music. Because I had different entrance music before it was okay, but this fit perfectly for this character, and he discovered that. So I was like, I'm gonna use this. This is great.
It's a fantastic song. Like when you came out to that, I was like, I actually didn't know, but I Shazammed it real quick because I'm like, I need to know this song. But it's such a perfect song. Like the vibe, like everything matches. It's like all this stuff is just like falling into place for you, and it's like perfection. Yeah. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
And in the song, she says "de toi." So
yes.
Yeah, we had to look at the lyrics. I was like, what is this song about? And then
you're like, what is this song about?
Because I mean,
it just
it's
fits.
About
it's
very like ephemeral French thing. You know, they're all about feelings and drama, romance. That's their whole gig. So
yeah, that's their whole shtick, right? Everything is about love. Everything is about love.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Isn't it crazy how all those little puzzle pieces come together to kind of make the persona and make the wrestler? Which comes easier for you, the physicality aspect or the performance aspect?
I think both. I love performing. I love performing. It's just a natural part of me being an actor and stuff. So professional wrestling fills in that void for me, being an actor, because we always want to work. We always want to perform in front of people, and we always want to do great things, you know?
Yeah.
So to me, it's so fulfilling that I get to do this every single Friday.
Yeah.
And I get to perform. It's not just like I'm doing a theater, I'm doing stage work for only 4 weeks. I'm on the stage. You could only see me, and then I'm done until 6 months later, another play or another theater performance and stuff. Where this, I get to do this every week, and I get to perform and entertain, and it's a great feeling. Like it is exhilarating when you do it. It really is.
Yeah.
The to go on the physicality of it. I mean, how great is it to showcase you're telling a story through the physicality? Not a lot of people can do that. That's performing without words, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and you're telling a story through this. What a great thing to like showcase, right? I could stand on a stage and spit out, all of my lines all day long, right? And they're invested in, wow, that's really great. But when you add the physicality to it, because you don't know what's going to happen, right? Yeah. And it's that feeling of, oh my God, these dudes are really like just beating the shit out of each other, but they're telling you the story of these characters and where it's progressing to. And I think that's so unique and such a beautiful way to storytell and entertain an audience. I really do. I think it's such a crazy performance medium that doesn't get enough recognition and respect that it deserves. It really does.
You're 100% correct. I've said that because again, I'm Crystal the Casual. Like I never really was into it. I always like knew of wrestling on the periphery. Before I started doing this, I was like, I know who Hulk Hogan is. I know who Macho Man is. Like I know that because they had commercials.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was a child in the 90s, so I saw all that stuff. But doing this with Penny and Drew and just being like outside of it, I went to a WrestleMania for the first time ever with Drew. Like, was that 2 years ago? Did we go when Roman and Cody won? Roman and Cody did their thing, yeah. But that is what I noticed about seeing it live, is that there's this really crazy performance aspect that people really, like you said, they don't respect about it. Like this is theater for everyday people. Like, because it's all that, I mean, in the sense that like, we all love soap operas, we all love drama, because those things have all of the emotional beats that every human experiences at some point. There's love, there's betrayal, there's revenge. Like we've all felt those things at some point. And then, like you said, you're putting it in the show with these people doing these incredible physical feats with their bodies. And I am constantly like amazed at the stuff you guys can do. Like it is batshit crazy to me. I could never. I have no like physicality myself. I'm very like clumsy. So I agree with you. It's very, people think of it as something that's not, I guess, legitimate. I don't want to say that, but like, it's such a cool thing.
A lot of people do.
It's a cool thing to like do. Like you're acting, you're doing all this basically stunt work.
Yeah.
And
it is a fair assessment. It is, it is stunt work. And I was discussing this with my friend Shane Haste, who is a professional wrestler as well for New Japan Pro Wrestling and wrestles all over the world. And we were discussing this, like Hollywood needs to embrace more professional wrestlers, right? And here's why. And I'll never understand why they came basically on the boat so late with professional wrestlers, because now you see Mercedes Moné, she's on Disney Plus and all of these different things, right? The Rock, for example, big Hollywood star, he was the only one that they basically like just removed from wrestling and made him into this big thing. Then Dave Bautista, and then all John Cena and all of these things. But now more and more they're recognizing professional wrestlers for their work because of these reasons. the physicality of it, the stunt work. We could do anything, basically. We could take all these bumps and do these crazy things, and not a lot of people can do that outside of the stunt work world, right?
Yeah.
Professional wrestlers, on the fly, 1 minute before you go on stage, hey, here's a little post-it note. This is what you're gonna say when you do your promo. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Great. Go out there. Do an entire match and then cut a 5-minute promo that you were given on a post-it note before, and then just kill the promo. Not a lot of people or actors, in my honest opinion, can do that. Sorry,
right.
they can't on the fly.
No.
That script has to be given to them 4 months before they show up on set to complete the work. And professional wrestlers can be told by the director or the producer, say this at this exact time. You have only 5 minutes to do this. Go out, do it. And a professional
in front of a crowd, live.
In front of a crowd,
live
in front of a crowd of 20,000 to 90,000 people. Go and do this.
Yep.
And then they will do it. So,
and I mean, and you guys do all this character work all the time too. You're constantly in your headspace of that character, and that is a hard thing to do as an actor. I mean, I took about 2 years of classes, nothing crazy, but you know, you have your journal, you have your this happened to them, and that's informing this moment. But you're doing this all the time, so it's like a constant, you know, refining of that ability.
Absolutely, I agree, and I think Hollywood is more and more seeing that. You know, with having WWE on Netflix and having AEW on HBO Max, it brings more eyes of Hollywood, like Hollywood eyes, directors, casting directors, producers, to literally just press play and look at all of these characters and see what they could do. Because maybe one of those characters that you see could be on one of your shows or could be on your movie. Because if they're able to do that live on the spot every single night,
imagine what they could do.
Imagine what they could do on your film. Imagine what they could do on your television show. So it's now wrestlers are really being respected and being looked at.
Do you get to watch much of wrestling indies or majors? Are there any wrestlers or stories that are sticking out to you? When you mentioned old Hollywood, it's like timeless Tony Storm.
Yeah.
Is there anything sticking out for you? Do you take inspiration from what's being done?
I mean, yeah, I love what NXT is doing. I think they are on fire. They are on fire. I love that they're bringing in. I love this partnership deal that they have with TNA.
Yep.
I think it's so great to like merge both, characters and to blend them in and to work with like the newer wrestlers to give them their shines and to give them their moments and stuff. And to have already established stars come in and to work with them. I love that. I love that so much. I think that that's so great and such a genius move of the WWE to do that. Currently on Raw and SmackDown, the women's division is actually pretty good right now on Raw and SmackDown. I think their storylines are pretty damn intriguing right now. I love everything that Cody Rhodes does. He's great. Seth Rollins, amazing. It's just, I love it all. I can't really say like what one thing of like, this is. I enjoy it all. I think it's just so cool. I just think it's so cool. I gotta admit, like I don't watch a lot of the AEW stuff, mostly just like clips on the internet and things. But it's just WWE's my jam. It always has been, and I always go back to it. So that's that. And then on the indie stuff, I love all the New Japan Pro Wrestling shows that they do out over here in California. I try to go to as much as them as I can with my schedule and stuff. But I try to go to all the different indie shows too when I'm free around town, just to observe and to see what they're doing. Of course. And maybe I might pick up on a thing or two from a lot of these cool wrestlers and stuff that I could, use and reference. So yeah.
I will see you next week, Danny Devine. And according to my schedule, you got 1 week of physical well-being. Enchanté, Mirapavshin, Bonne nuit.
What was the most nervous or scared you've ever been? I was watching your match where you dropped the title to Danny Devine.
Yes.
And you did a tornado DDT and into a suplex, and he basically fell on his head. And it was like, oh my God, is he okay? So for me, the best matches that I enjoy watching are where the two people are kind of equally skilled, and I'm worried for one or other at a certain like spot. Is there any time that you've been like really nervous or scared when you go out? Are you always kind of nervous when you open that curtain?
Oh, it's kind of, how do I describe it? It's more like nerves. It's blended because your body doesn't know, is this nerves or is this excitement?
Ooh, sure.
You know? So
I guess for your body, it's the same thing.
It's the same
It doesn't know the
thing,
difference.
right?
Yeah.
So sometimes when it's a bigger show or it's a bigger match, yeah, you get a little bit nervous, but then you also have that excitement of, I know what I'm doing. I called the match. I trust my capabilities and abilities to do this.
Yeah.
Let me go have fun. You know? So
Yeah.
there's always that initial, you know, like, ooh, okay, it's showtime.
Yeah.
But then when that curtain opens up, it's like, all right, let's go. Let's have fun. If we're not having fun in the ring, you all are not having fun watching.
Right.
That's like the thing, right? So if we're not having a good time, y'all aren't having a good time. So
exactly.
It's there is that little moment before you go out, but it's a blend of nervousness and excitement. Danny Devine, let me tell you something. He's outside of the wrestling ring. He's really one of my greatest friends that I met in professional wrestling, and he has taught me so much about myself as a professional wrestler, and has given me the ability to just grow and fly. And he is just, I say this all the time, he's just a constant blessing in professional wrestling, that the way that he took his time with me to train me and to help me evolve more and more every single time that I step foot into the ring. And he's just a great human being. So.
Do you watch your own matches back? What makes a great match for you? Oh yeah.
I do. I watch all of my matches back because, you know, you want to
see the tape, watch the tape.
Yeah, watch the playback.
Play the tape.
See, like,
that makes sense.
Are there moments that I did that were not great that I could improve on for the next time that I do it? Or did I sell too much on this move? Do I need to pull it back? Did I not sell enough? Was my posture okay? Was my strikes all right? So I look at it very meticulously so that I could grow for the next performance and stuff. That's just what I do. It's not, I don't try to be too harsh on myself, because that's where it gets, you never want to do that. You never want to be too harsh on yourself, but you want to look at things where you can improve that you visually see. And then I would always go back to Danny or go back to Ray and say, hey, can you look at this clip and see, like, is it as good as I think it is, or is it as bad as I'm thinking in my
imagining
head or
it? Yeah.
Yeah. And
get an objective eye on it too.
Yeah, I just need another perspective on it, because if I keep looking at it, I'm always going to find something.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. The more you look at it over and over again, you're like, wait, now I see this mistake. Wait, now I see this mistake. I have that with my writing, where eventually I said it to people, I'm like, just please look at this, because I hate 90% of this, and you need to tell me I'm crazy, because I've looked at it so many times that I'm sick of it. Like,
yeah, as a writer, I do that too as well.
Yeah.
I do that absolutely. That's why we have so many drafts as a writer, right? Because we go back and we're like, oh, I could do this way. No, I could do this way.
Right. And even when it's done, you're like, I could have done this another way, but it's done, I guess.
Yeah. It's done, I guess.
But one of my favorite matches is that Danny match when I dropped the title to him. We were having so much fun, and just like, it was such a pleasure to be in there with him and to have the actual program with him. So we had those 2 matches and 2 promos together. One of my favorites of the year last year. Absolute, like, number one to me was that program that I worked with Danny. It just it flowed. It was so much fun, and we just went out there and did it. It was great.
I love how you opened it with a handshake. I love sportsmanship. Put it into my veins. I love that. Of course, I love when a heel is just a good old fashioned heel, but I also love like, hey man, good job. Oh, I love that. It's so wholesome. Do you prefer to work more as a face or heel? Because you definitely like walk that line.
I walk that fine line sometimes, right? So currently, I'm majority a face at the different promotions that I go to, but there have been many instances where I do show up at a show and they're like, you need to be a heel. But currently, right now, I am considered a face. But you never know, something might switch up. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's always the fun part.
Yeah, that's always the fun part. So you never know. Keep your eyes out.
How is it like with wanting to win versus wanting others to win? Because it must be like very hard as a wrestler to want to always be at the top, but not being able to get there because you're always it's always that push and pull where you want others to do well, but you also want to do better than them. And yet you want to create something together. What's that dynamic like?
That's a great question, honestly.
It's like, I want to be better than you, but also I want you to do well too, because, you know, the rising tide rises all ships. So is it sort of a jealousy thing, but also needing to pull it back? Like when you have to drop a title, like you have to go out there and give him the title, but you also want to both win. So what's that like? That kind of push and pull. I always wondered about that.
Well, it's based out of respect, I guess, right? Like we're all doing this, showcasing us as characters and physically just giving it our all. It's a mutual trust and respect of, I had my time.
Yeah.
Now it's yours to really like shine. Or, you know, this person has had their time and now it's time to elevate me. It's just this mutual respect of like, it's not diminishing somebody else's shine for you to then be at the top. Right. We're working together. Like you putting me on top as the star is showcasing you of how professional you are and how respectful you are of this business, that everyone will remember you put me on top.
Yes.
Right?
Definitely.
So it takes two to tango. It's not just one person. One person is not just yes, when they made Roman Reigns the star, right? But it took that other person to be like, wow, they made Roman Reigns look like $1 million. Real wrestling will say that person did that for instead, because the audience will be like, the star Maximilien Monclair, amazing, blah 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 blah. But the real ones will be like, that guy.
Yes. Yes.
That person right there did that.
And it was Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan was the guy who put Roman over, and that's why he's the guy he is.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
There's so many beautiful moments in professional wrestling that it's you can't take it for granted. It's such a great way to entertain people, and I love moments like that. And you know, more and more people are just realizing how great of a entertainment medium it is.
Who are your faves to work with? Is there anyone that you want to work with that you would love to get into the ring with?
I was in a Rumble at MPW, and I was the final 3, and I was up against Shane Haste from New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Hey,
and, we had a little thing going on in there, and I'd love to meet him again inside of that ring.
The mighty don't kneel.
In a solo match would be great eventually.
He was great in NXT. I'm a big fan of his work.
Phenomenal in NXT. Yeah. He is such he really is an amazing talent. And he needs to be recognized every single day for his work, because he truly is really, really great at what he does. Yeah. Aside from Shane Haste, I would like to work with Royce Isaacs, also from New Japan Pro Wrestling. Tyler Bateman, who is pretty much a staple at MPW too, as well. When
he's a California legend.
Oh, dude, amazing, amazing. I would love to be in the ring with him. Again, anytime that I'm in the ring with Danny Devine, always a pleasure. I would love to fight him every single day if I could, honestly.
You have great chemistry.
Yeah, I love working with him. He's great. Who else I'd like to work with in the SoCal scene? I'm trying to think. There's this man and there's this guy in San Diego at Primal Pro Wrestling named Yasin Khan.
Okay.
I worked with him at the Terror Dome Battle Royal last year, and he eliminated me. And
you got to get your lick back.
Yeah, I have some unfinished business with him, particularly. So I'm looking forward to going back to San Diego to make my name known over there with him.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We'll put a pin in that.
Yeah, we'll put a little pin in that. Yeah.
What are your goals? Would you try out for a major promotion?
I mean, let them call me. I'm ready to go, like to do it. I mean, it would be a great experience to, of course, be with the WWE and all of that. I would love to be a part of NXT. I think it's just such a great show, great facility, great workers. That would be something that I would envision for myself. I would love to be a part of that. So
your current gimmick would definitely work.
That's what I said. The first time, the time we went to that, we need to go back. I've been meaning we have to because it was so fun. But I saw it and I was like, I feel like I should be seeing this on TV. WWE. Like that's what when I saw you, I was like, this is perfect for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it would fit so great. It would fit so great.
Yeah.
Ray Rosas, Danny Devine, and everybody at MPW, they trained me for television. They wanted me to be this TV, wrestler, because there's different wrestlers. There's workers, and then there's the women's wrestlers, and then there's this, and then that, but then there's TV wrestlers, right? So they trained me to be a TV wrestler, and that's where I would want to go. Like I think it would just be so cool to be a part of NXT. Would be great. Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anyone from the past, Attitude Era, Classic Era, that you want to meet? What would you ask them?
Oh wow, that's a great question. So
they don't even have to be with us anymore if they passed on to the Rainbow Bridge.
Yes. So my professional wrestling Mount Rushmore, okay, is, because I'm the child of the Attitude Era, like I said, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock,
yep,
Triple H,
yep,
and the ninth wonder of the world, China.
Yep, there you go.
So those four individuals shaped me as the professional wrestler that I am. And the only thing that I would say to all of them if I were to meet them, even, China had passed, is which I had met China before, like a long time ago, way back in the day. She came into my town. She was the only wrestler that came into my town. She was promoting her fitness video that she had with the WWE back in the day. And I had met her, and she was the biggest sweetheart ever, and the nicest woman that I've ever met in my entire life. And if I were to have the opportunity to meet up Stone Cold and The Rock and Triple H and to see China again, I would say thank you. Honestly, that's all I would say. It's just thank you, because now I am a professional wrestler, and I understand, and I get it. And like, these were why I was so intrigued with professional wrestling. Was I liked comic book heroes like Batman and Superman and stuff. I wasn't into like reading the comic books. I saw them in films. Sure. And that's what my introduction was to superheroes.
Same. But
professional wrestlers, seeing them like for real people, okay, doing these things in the ring, those people were superheroes to me.
Yeah.
So watching these people and having the ability to just say thank you to them, like a physical, real human being that performs at this level, just to say thank you. because you made my teenage years, and now I'm a professional wrestler doing it because of you. So that's honestly what I would say, is just thank you.
All right, tell our listeners where they can see you and remind you, and where they can follow you on the socials, because you're always on there.
All right. Yes. So you could find Maximilien Monclair basically every Friday night at MPW, Millennium Pro Wrestling, in Chatsworth, California. And then I have some upcoming shows. Championship Wrestling of Hollywood. I will be making my debut.
All right.
Yes. At the Irvine Improv on February 25th. Maximilien Monclair, Championship Wrestling of Hollywood. Then I have Alliance for All Wrestling on February 27th. It's the 1-year anniversary of AFA. So I will be tagging with my best friend, Diego Valens, hotmail.com, AFA, February 27th. And then at MPW, we have the upcoming Double Dash tournament, where again, I will be with Diego Valens, hotmail.com, and we're going to be taking over that tournament. And hopefully I will be getting those championships, tag team championships, baby.
All right.
For us. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Trying to get the gold.
Always get the gold.
Then you could find me on my social media at Maximilien Monclair on Instagram, and then King Maximilian on Twitter, on X, or whatever you want to call it now.
Twitter.
It's Twitter. It's always Twitter.
It's always Twitter to me, right? I can't ever say X. I'm just, it's Twitter. Leave me alone. I can't do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
So that's where you could find me on any of those programs. And then just, I always post when I have new matches, scheduled, and where the different promotions are going to be at. So that's just follow along, and you'll find me there.
Yes.
So
thank you so much for joining us today. It was a joy to talk to you.
Oh, it was a pleasure to talking to you guys too. This was
so much.
fun. You guys are such a bright light in professional wrestling. So I appreciate all of you, and for you guys to come out to the show and watch us at MPW. It meant a lot to us. So hopefully we'll see you all back there.
Yes.
This was really, really fun. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Here we don't have a real sign off. We just kind of end things.